destiny is non-refundable, and your fate is mandatory. This crown, but if the heavens chose me, then heaven should pay me now. No pension, no provisions, no hazard pay for hell. And if I die upon the quest, there's forms for that as well. We regret to inform you that you are the chosen one. Your mandatory quest begins before the rising sun. Please report to the quest desk with your weapons and ID. Your destiny is non-refundable, and your fate is mandatory. To inform you that you are the chosen one, your mandatory quest begins before the rising sun. Please report to the quest desk with your weapons and ID. Your destiny is non-refundable, and your fate is mandatory. I made it past the velvet rope, past framed awards for service and hope, polished desk and a brass nameplate, a handwritten sign, back at 8. Torchlight buzzing down the hall, dragons circling the outer wall, bell on the counter, no reply, just lemon water and a blinking light. There's a schedule posted by the door, office hours carved in stone. If the realm collapses after 4, please address it on your own. The quest desk is closed for lunch, please return at 1. The apocalypse can wait its turn, will resume when Is it noble only if it's approved? Is the quest task useless every time? The quest desk is closed for lunch. Please return at 1. The apocalypse can wait its turn. We'll resume when lunch is done. The quest desk is closed for lunch. Kindly form a line. Emergencies are handled once the paperwork aligns. Please return at 1. We'll resume when lunch is done. The quest desk is closed for lunch. Kindly form a line. Emergencies are handled once the paperwork aligns. I answer destiny's call, prophecy in hand, gold-trimmed parchment, seal of command. Said I'd save the realm, said I'd save the day. Reception just smiled and looked away. Chosen by prophecy, cleared by none. A signature short of getting anything done. Your quest is very important to us. Please remain on the line. We're experiencing higher than normal doom. Your fate will be handled in time. Old music, chanting ancient tongues, looping hymns almost done. Transferred twice to a higher plane. Disconnected, forced to call back again. Chosen by prophecy, cleared by none. Every yes delayed till the damage is done. Your quest is very important to us. Please remain on the line. We're experiencing higher than normal doom. Your fate will be handled in If the world ends while I'm on hold, will that count as non-compliance? If I act without permission, is that courage or defiance? needs it, have a nice life. Improper grip, excessive force, apocalyptic acts, of course. If you're battling eldritch spawn, that's outside what we build upon. Legendary sword, not legendary warranty, blade of myth and policy, edge of glory, steel divine, replacement ships in 4 to 9. Legendary sword, not legendary warranty, failure falls on thee. If the kingdom burns tonight, please refer to section B. Legendary sword, non-legendary warranty, forged for fate, guaranteed sold separately, edge of destiny, blade of flame, terms and conditions still apply the same. Legendary sword, non-legendary warranty, heroism subject to a fee. If it breaks while saving lives, that's considered user liability. Hey, hey, crowds and whispered prayers. It did not say before the war I'd need approval stamped by 4 arcane departments, seals in red, before I'm cleared to fight the undead. No ancient line and sacred script said sequest destined for partnership. The prophecy didn't mention this bullshit. Councils, forms, and seals. It promised glory and steel, not waiting on appeals. The prophecy didn't mention this bullshit. Nothing in the scroll about some clothes machine went off and killed the guards instead today. The bridge appeared beneath our feet. It only vanished once we'd crossed. The pit trap opened 3 rooms back, and somehow we still got lost. The dungeon is currently experiencing technical difficulties. The dungeon's death sequence has encountered a fatal error. The dungeon is currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please wait while we attempt to kill you better. The dungeon is currently experiencing technical difficulties. Your scheduled execution has been delayed. We apologize for any inconvenience. Please enjoy your stay. The ancient magic's breaking down. The dungeon can't maintain. The curse repeats, the walls reset, then starts the whole thing up again. We killed the boss came back. We killed him once more. Then 6 identical demon kings came crashing through the door. The dungeon is currently experiencing technical difficulties. The dungeon's death sequence has encountered a fatal error. The dungeon is currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please wait while we attempt to kill you better. The dungeon is currently experiencing technical difficulties. There was a sign beside the door in letters painted bright. Please do not feed the mimics here. Thank you and have a pleasant night. I saw a chest beside the wall. Its little eyes were barely hid. I tossed a copper in its mouth. It swallowed it and did a grin. I know the sign was clear. I know exactly what it said. But when it wagged its little lid, I couldn't leave the thing unfed. Please do not feed the mimics. Don't feed the little beast. 1 coin becomes a 2nd coin, then suddenly it's a feast. Please do not feed the mimics. They're hungry little things. You give them gold, they follow you, and some may learn to grow wings. It followed us through every room. It waited by our feet. It learned to mimic every chest we passed along the street. It stole the rogue's enchanted boots. It ate the wizard's hat, then took the shape of my old sword and nearly cut me in half. We tried to leave it in the cave. We tried to lose it in the town. We thought we'd finally lost the thing until it came back wearing a crown. Please do not feed the mimics. Don't feed the opened up its wooden jaw and swallowed someone's heart. Please do not feed the mimics. Don't feed the little beast. One coin becomes a second coin, then suddenly it's a feast. Please do not feed the mimics. They're hungry little things. You give them gold, they follow you, and some may learn to grow wings. The sky split open, red and white. An elder god stepped through the divide. The mountains crack, the oceans boil, the thousand ancient wards uncoiled. Emergency horns began to cry, convening council, please stand by. Aligned in crescent rows, murmured eyes and measured nose. Wizard Council votes to table the apocalypse, seconded and sealed. World-ending fire postponed, pending how they feel. Wizard Council votes to table the apocalypse. All in favor say, postpone the fall of everything. City gates now subject to procedural debates. Have we reviewed comparable events? Is mass extinction a precedent? A scrying orb shows cities fall. They pause to draft a protocol. Armageddon, we must define its metrics, brethren. A trembling squire dares to speak. The rift expands by miles each way. Wizard Council votes to table the apocalypse, seconded and sealed. World-ending fire postponed, pending how they feel. Wizard Council votes to table the apocalypse. All in favor say, postpone the fall of everything until next Thursday. The flames recede, the elder god reduces speed. Rescheduled echoes through the sky. The world exhales and doesn't die. If you can hope the end of days with raised hands in a velvet haze, then why send heroes off to die? They hunted down the makers of forbidden spells. They raided shops beneath the dead of night. They called the confiscation public safety, and called resistance acts of criminal might. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Wants, they claim they keep the magic safe, but every spell that they outlaw is another freedom that they take. We exist to keep magic safe. It's what they tell the world outside, but they exist to tell the wizards which spells they may and may not try. They say the wand is dangerous. They say the spell must be controlled. They say the people cannot be trusted with the ancient power they hold. So every year the laws grow longer. Every year the chains grow tight. And somewhere in a bureau office, another freedom dies tonight. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Wants, they claim they keep the magic safe, but every spell that they outlaw is another freedom that they take. We exist to keep magic safe. It's what they tell the world outside, but they exist to tell the wizards which spells they may and may not try. The agents came at break of dawn with warrants stamped and wands in hand. They said my spell work violated the laws that governed all the land. They read the charges from a parchment and demanded that I yield. I looked upon the bureau seal and knew I would never kneel. Respect the magical control Act of 1473. The bureau demanded from me. I raised my wand and shook my head and said, I will be free. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Wants has ordered my surrender tonight. I drew my wand and faced them all, and prepared myself to fight. They said my wand was unregistered, my license had expired. exceeded limits, and my fireplace wasn't properly wired. They charged me with illegal casting in possession of forbidden flame. They told me every charge would vanish if I would simply sign my name. Respect the magical control, Act of 1473. The Bureau demanded from me. I raised my wand and shook my head and said, I will be free. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Wands has ordered my surrender tonight. I drew my wand and faced them all, and prepared myself to fight. The first spell shattered every window, the second split the street in two. The Bureau called for reinforcements and sent their finest agents through. They came with warrants, seals, and orders. They came with 21s ablaze. But I had spent my whole damn lifetime learning every forbidden way. Respect the magical control, Act of 1473. The Bureau demanded from me. I raised my wand and shook my head and said, I will be free. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Wands has ordered my surrender tonight. I drew my wand and faced them all, and prepared myself to fight. Respect the magical control, Act of 1473. The Bureau demanded from me. I raised my wand and shook my head and said, I will be free. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Wands has ordered my surrender tonight. I drew my wand and faced them all, and prepared myself to fight. Proper court. The proper court was closed because the council had decreed that all non-essential business must wait until next week. I asked about the heroes that were sent beyond the gate. They said the council moved the deadline so they couldn't possibly be late. The apocalypse was scheduled for the 23rd at dawn. They changed it to the 25th, then sent the heroes on. I learned to keep my temper, I learned to play along. I learned that every answer meant another form to draw on. I learned that every office had an office of its own, and every man in charge would say, that isn't my department, no. Then the Bureau came knocking with their latest decree. They said the wand I carried was a threat to public safety. They took my books, another fucking way. I started in the workshop when the sun had gone below, with iron from the scrapyard and an engine from a troll. I took the plans for siege machines and tore them into shreds, then drew a different kind of weapon that would turn their streets to red. They can seize a wand, they can ban a spell, they can lock a wizard in a cell, but they cannot stop the thing they never thought to fear. Sometimes reasonable mages must do unreasonable things, when those who make the laws forget what justice means. I've begged them, I've obeyed them, I've watched them turn away, but when reason gets you nowhere, there's another fucking way. The council has its towers, the bureau has its laws, the quest desk has its paperwork, and I have had enough. They thought the rules would save them, they thought I'd never fight. They spent so long deciding what was lawful, they forgot to ask what was right. Sometimes reasonable mages must do unreasonable things, when those who make the laws forget what justice means. I've begged them, I've obeyed them, I've watched them turn away, but when reason gets you nowhere, there's another fucking way. was punishment. He said, no, it's just the way. I asked if someone could override it, was told they're not here today. I said, then call the Wizard Council, surely they can make this right. They said the council can't be reached. I said, what could they be doing tonight? I suddenly remembered the fire, the smoke, the fall. I suppose it does complicate things when I fucking killed them all. You have died, unfortunately. The resurrection office has closed. Your soul has been filed away somewhere, but nobody knows where it goes. You have died, unfortunately. Your resurrection cannot proceed. Please wait until further notice, and kindly remain deceased.
The Adventurers Guild's a bureaucratic hell. Hours passing marked by the ringing of an old brass bell. I just need a stamp so I can slay one fucking troll. Instead I've aged another year in this infernal hole. The lady at the counter's got silver in her hair, perfect elven posture and 1,000-yard stare. She says you're missing section C, with a smile so prim and smug. I think I heard my last remaining nerve simply fucking shrug. I'm carving slurs in a rock, one slice at a time. Every petty grievance etched in crooked little lines. If diplomacy won't work, then geology just might. I'm building me a weapon out of pure fucking spite. This is my racial slur rock. It's got slurs for every race. Those pointy early flickers won't be so smug when it hits them in the face. Stopped into the tavern just to calm my mortal soul, dreaming of some meat and maybe half a roasted foal. But a bugbear and a dwarf had beaten me once more. The kegs were running empty and there wasn't any bore. The barkeep just shrugged. That's life, my friend. I felt my patience reaching its ignoble end. No dinner, no ale, no shred of hope in sight. Guess the rock's getting another line tonight. I'm carving slurs in a rock, one slice at a time. Every petty grievance etched in crooked little lines. If diplomacy won't work, then geology just might. I'm building me a weapon out of pure fucking spite. This is my racial slur rock. It's got slurs for every race. Those long goblins and tunnel rats should be laid out with a mace. Do you know the dedication, the unwavering conviction, the hours spent with hammer and chisel to carve this linguistic diction? Every swing another grievance, every scrape another slide. You don't just gain this kind of hatred, you cultivate it every night. Call me unreasonable, call me unwell, but they can bring their grievance straight with them to Now the rock's in a sock and the sock's in my hand. land, marching toward the outer planes with a deeply flawed plan. I don't know if I'm mad that they invented every race, or just that they invented me to occupy this place. Maybe life's the problem, maybe the gods are to blame. Maybe consciousness itself's a joke, which we've given a name. Either way, somebody's catching this geological complaint. If they've got a problem with it, they can suck upon my taint. I'm carving slurs in a rock, one slice at a time. Every petty grievance etched in crooked little lines. If diplomacy won't work, then geology just might. I'm building me a weapon out of pure fucking spite. This is my racial slur rock. It's got slurs for every race. And now I'm on my way to meet these belief-hungry skanks. The things I'm about to do will shatter their religious base.
Waiting to be undone. The first note split the willow trees, second brought the air to its knees. The third erased the birds from flight. The fourth brought forth eternal night. The marsh went still, the fog leaned in, like the world itself had learned his sins. Benjamin! Sound to bury what should not have been found. The banjo played its twine-filled voice and took from him his final choice. On the second strike, a hollow tone, a god's armor cracked like aging stone. He did not die, he did not fall, he simply stopped existing at all. No ash, no blood, no broken bone, just absence where the gods had once been known. No shield, no iron gate can interrupt what he creates. Benjamin, sir, he plays the laws the world obeys. Benjamin, sir, fine-tuned strings that lead to broken graves. Every note a final call. When he plays, kingdoms fall. Benjamin, sir. No court escapes what he demands. No fate resists his picking hand. He does not ask, he does not